Good morning, class. Happy Monday. Welcome to your last week of grammar. Woohoo! So, as always, we're going to start with our lesson. And of course, there's nothing new for the last week, but we are going to do a bit of review together. So make sure you have your Duotang open so you can see what I'm looking at and write down the answers as well, okay? So let's have a look here. Question 1 asks us, what is a main clause? Let's think about that. What's a main clause? A main clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb that can stand alone as a sentence. Okay, so let's write that down. MC, a group of words with a subject and a verb that can stand alone as a sentence. Okay, so that's number 1. All right, let's look at number 2. What do main clauses usually start with? What do they usually start with? So they tend to start with either the subject itself or sometimes an article, okay? So like an or the, okay? They might also start with adjectives plus a subject, okay? So subject slash article slash adjective plus subject, okay? So that is our answer for number 2. So those are the options for starting a main clause. And now let's look at number 3. What's a dependent clause? Okay, a dependent clause, you can think about it for a second, is a group of words with a subject and a verb that can't stand alone as a sentence. Okay, so it's the opposite of a main clause. So a group of words with a subject and a verb that cannot stand alone as a sentence. Okay, so dependent clauses depend on main clauses, and that's how you can remember that. They can't stand on their own. Okay, but lastly, what do they start with? What do dependent clauses usually start with? These are our acronym. So the www.asia.b and the who, which. And that. We've often seen dependent clauses start with that. Okay, so you can write that down as well. And once you've written this all down for your answers for this week's review, please take a moment and go through your vocabulary words. So we have quip, tendons, guffawed, post-haste, capital, christening, surveyed, and fashioned. Okay, so have a look through all of those words and then you can get started and add this week's word. Okay, so pause the video right here and do that and have a go at your sentence before coming back to take it up with me. Okay? And welcome back. I hope you've had a chance to work on your sentence and now we can take it up together. So today's definition is for downy. Okay, and downy means fluffy and soft, like down. So down is the soft feathers that come from birds. Okay, so it basically means soft. All right, so let's get started on our sentence. And our sentence starts with beneath the oak, which we're going to capitalize. And beneath is a preposition, okay, which kind of gives us a clue that this is a number 2 sentence opener. Okay, and then we are going to start our clause here. Okay, and it's ending at the comma. The comma is a good hint that it ends as well as the where. Okay, and then we have, so we'll label that as an MC, and then we have our verb. Okay, and the seat is the subject. Okay, because that's what this clause is talking about. It was a seat of downy green moss, and of is a preposition. And that is our first clause, okay? And then we have a dependent clause. And this is where it goes. So it starts with where Robin Hood was positioned to sit. And the comma is another hint that that's where it ends, okay? But so we'll label that as a dependent clause because it starts with where, okay? Which is a clause starter. And we've got Robin Hood, who is, of course, our subject, as he so often is, and we'll capitalize his name. Then we have was as our verb, and positioned is another verb, okay? Where Robin Hood was positioned to sit. And then feasting and enjoying merrymaking with his fearless men. We have a coordinating conjunction and then a preposition. Okay, and we'll end our sentence. And this is not a clause, okay? It just gets to sit out all by itself, okay? So, because it doesn't really have a verb, it has verbals instead of a verb, and the subject is from the dependent clause, okay? So, we don't have to indent today because it's still talking about the oak tree that we ended off with last week, so you can continue writing in your rewrite underneath where you were. And then you are all set for today's grammar.